Hello, everyone. This is Jeanette Schliega with VGA, and I am here with my dear friend, Sara Cochran. Sara, how are you today?
I am great. How are you today?
I am good. We have known each other for years, and I remember I first heard you talk for VGA years ago. And I really enjoyed your session. And I was like, oh, I like her as a speaker. I want to listen to her more and more. And then, I think I got on your mailing list and things like that. And so you are known as the Skeleton Whisperer. That's your genealogy business. Can you share with everyone how you got started with that?
Oh boy. So I got started, I hung my shingle out, as it were, March 1st, 2016. And it kind of came about through so I was a member of the Genealogical Society of Riverside at the time. And I'm in that Riverside, California area. And we got a lot of requests to look up obituaries. And it was volunteer based. And the small fee that we charged was to help contribute to operating funds so that we could continue to give programming and do the things that local genealogy societies do for their communities.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I was like, this is a lot of fun. I could look up somebody's obituary and send it to them, and they're excited and they're happy. And we had one lady come in I think she lived on the East Coast, and she said, my family's from Riverside. I could really use some help on finding more about them. I'd like to hire you guys, and I'm planning a trip, and just there's somebody available that can maybe help me with some in-person research, because I'm not familiar with the area and the records and things. And I was the one that was available for that. So that was a lot of fun, and just helping other people discover that family history, which I had been doing for myself for decades. And seeing that joy of other people, knowing that they felt the same way I did, was so I decided things were starting to shift with the society a little bit. Every society has its ebbs and flows, and I was starting to look for something that was not the desk job that I had, which was not the desk job that I wanted. And I thought, there's an opportunity here. So it was meant originally to start with record lookups and things like that. And it kind of just snowballed.
Yeah.
Now I get to do this full time, which is the best job ever.
I love it. So I know that you are a lecturer. Obviously, is that how I first met you? And you're going to be speaking for VGA soon. Do you also do client research?
I do accept client research depending on the project. Right now, my dance card's full for the year, but I do have a wait list going. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of Lineage Society applications. I do mostly North Central, so the Iowa, the Dakotas. That will be my ICAP Gen region, as I'm working on my portfolio for that. But I have experience with pretty much everywhere in the United States, as well as a few foreign countries, Ireland particularly. My background is in library science. In another universe, I was going to be living in a dungeon cataloging books. That was my goal. And so one of the things when you're a cataloger in a library is you need to know a little bit about a huge variety of subjects. And so bringing that background in, I may not know exactly your specific county, but I can figure it out. I may not know where the records are, but I can figure out how to get to them and what's available. So one of the things that I'm doing this year in between client projects, as I got them caught up, is if you need a nudge, you're stuck, you're just really not ready to let it go. You're like, I want to figure this out, but I'm stuck. One of the things that I do is you send me what you have, I'll comb through it, and we'll get you some ideas going. I can either send you a list of ideas, or we can meet one-on-one. And I can kind of coach you through okay, try this. Let's see what that is. And a lot of times we're just too close to the problem, and we miss those things, and everybody's got different experience, and I know about this little pocket collection. I've never heard about that. So when we share, we break through those brick walls together.
Yeah. And I know from personal experience, because I have hired you for coaching. I remember I needed some demoing through Irish websites. I had gathered everything that I could. I had where I thought was the home area, back in Ireland, but I wasn't sure how to navigate. And so I got you for an hour and we Zoomed and you shared your screen and you showed me how to navigate. And it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it and learned a lot. So thank you.
That's a lot of fun. I love doing
Yeah.
it because I know how much fun it is to do it yourself. But
Mhm.
when you just, you need that little bit of education push and where's this and where's that? And love it.
Yeah. And how we actually met, now I knew you as a presenter, but then we have just bumped into each other left and right at all these different genealogy institutes. So I know that you enjoy going to those. Are you taking any this summer?
I am. I just wrapped up in June of 22. I took Ireland Part 2 with David Rencher and Rick Sayer over at GRIP, the Genealogy Research Institute of Pittsburgh, and it was phenomenal. And my head is full, and my bookshelves are bursting, and my wallet's a little bit emptier. And I'm gearing up for GRIP July session, which I was so torn. It is so hard to choose. Sometimes these institutes offer such amazing programs. It was either Irish Part 3, which is a brand new course from David and Rick, or Judy Russell's Women and Children First Law course. And it came down to a coin toss. Because I could not choose. And so I'm taking Women and Children First. I'm super excited. My bookshelves are going to be bursting a little bit more as the books I ordered came in. Let's not discuss the wallet. It's okay. I buy a lot of used books. I'm a frugal. I shop all the used book places. It gives them a second life and it's a lot less expensive.
Yeah.
But I've been, since so many of the institutes went virtual, I have just been soaking it up and taking advantage of that as best I can. Being in California, the institutes are in Salt Lake, they're in Pittsburgh, they're in Georgia. There's one in Georgia. There's one in Pennsylvania. The costs, flights and hotels and food. And then of course I always pack a few extra days on either side of my trip so I can do some research, because that's what you do. I could do one a year, which is a nice pace. You get to really absorb it. You get to take full advantage of everything you've learned, but it's one a year. And with institutes, all you pay is tuition and maybe a few dinners out because, hey, it's still Institute week.
You mean if they're virtual?
Yeah, when they're virtual. I don't have the travel costs. I don't have the hotel bill. My husband did ixnay the idea of getting a little mini fridge for the upstairs in our bedroom to replicate that hotel experience. He said no to that, but that's all right. I guess I can understand. But yeah, I'm able to, the cost, you can do one in person, you can do two, maybe three, if you play it the right way, of the virtual institutes, and you kind of fast track the, filling in those gaps, because every genealogist, every person in the world has places where their education is a little less here than over there. And so it's been great filling in those gaps and really digging deeper into land records and Irish research and the law and various and sundry states. I took a fabulous class on New York research, which New York, you're my, when I have a New York problem, I go straight to you. I'm like,
you do, yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was doing one a summer, and then when they went virtual that first year, I took 3. I think I was in 2 of the 3 with you because I did the Pennsylvania one as well from the HSP, right? Historical Society of Pennsylvania. So I hope to bump into you at future ones as well, maybe even in person someday. Who knows?
Ooh.
I know.
Yeah, that's something that I don't think we've actually physically met in person. We
have been Zoom friends for sure. Yes.
I am looking forward to that, because there are aspects of that in-person institute that you just cannot replicate on Zoom. But let me tell you, having taken I've taken all 3 of Tom Jones's courses, and he assigns homework He wants you to really get as much as you can out of that course. And my advice, if your course has homework, is always optional. Do the homework, at least try it, because you do get a lot out of the homework. But I'll tell you that the first two were in person, and that was, I didn't sleep a lot those weeks. And the third one was mastering documentation, and that was virtual. Man, that was awesome, because I had so much time to do my homework. I had time to go to class. I had time to take a little break, do my homework, watch the evening sessions, get dinner, and be at bed at a decent hour. And that was so much fun.
Yeah.
So nice. But I did miss bumping in on hallways and going out for dinner and pretending like we didn't have homework.
Yeah. No, I hear you for sure.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, me too. Well, you are going to be speaking for VGA soon coming up, and the lecture you are doing is Shaky Leaf Syndrome, using website generated hints more effectively. Can you share a little bit with us what we're going to learn in that session?
Absolutely. So just so we're all clear, and we all know where the shaky leaf reference comes in, but I'm not picking on any one particular website. We're going to hit all the big four. So whether your tree is an Ancestry or MyHeritage or Family Search or Find My Past, there are going to be examples from every single website. And ultimately, Shaky Leaf Syndrome is a class about, without actually flat out saying this is the genealogical proof standard, it's about using the GPS and using especially the analyzing and correlating piece of the GPS to really dig into that hint and evaluate it and say, instead of just going, oh, I have a hint, I'm going to accept it and move on, really dig into that hint. It's like, okay, you've got a hint for a tax record. This is fabulous. But take a deeper look before you just accept, is that, if this were my John Smith paying this tax, he would be 14 years old. No, I don't think the 14-year-olds are paying the taxes. So sometimes just taking a few extra minutes and slowing down can really save you a lot of headache and heartache down the road. And we will be using an example from my own family tree, where when I first got started, I did not stop and slow down and take a really good thorough look at that record. And I ended up having to remove a whole bunch of people off of my family tree. So
I've done it as well. I completely understand. And I hope that more and more, even if they're hobbyist, family researchers, what I didn't understand was how I was just testing something out was going to be affecting others with the hints that they received on their tree.
yes.
So I had a hypothesis, and I knew it was a hypothesis, and this was before my tree tags came out that you could put like unverified, or I didn't know about creating a private tree that I could build without affecting others. And so I did a lot of work where I connected a person in my tree to his parents, and it turns out they weren't his parents. And so unfortunately, though, all the other people, because it looked like I was doing quite thorough research, I was adding, obituaries and lots of documents that I had found, it showed up as hints on their trees as well. And so I love what you said about doing a little bit more careful analysis, because if you get a record hint, and then you just say, well, 4 other people saved this to that same person in their tree, it must be right, and just kind of go for it. It could have been somebody like me that was just trying something out that I accidentally then misled all the other people. So
yeah, that's one of the reasons why. So it's, anybody who's attended any of my classes probably knows about the poor problem with James Jackson, and we don't know who his parents are because issues. We'll learn more. If you're intrigued now, come, we'll share the story of James and how, and that was a big part of it, was so many other people had attached the father to James, that I'm like, oh, well, okay, yeah, this is a little bit off, but look at all those other people. And so we do talk a little bit about that. We also talk about really the birth cycle of a hint. So we'll open with that, and where do these hints come from? And how do we get them? So sometimes I've had a few people respond and say, that really helps me understand why I'm getting like, oh, light bulb moment. And that's part of it, is that other people's trees are helping the system give you hints, and if those trees are maybe not perfectly accurate.
Yeah.
I love that all of these websites, they bring us hints, they give us suggested records. I mean, they really are helping. They are trying to help.
Yes.
I love them for that, but we do need to be, just because it says, oh, look, shiny, maybe not. So,
well, I am
a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. I am certainly looking forward to your presentation. I'm sure everyone else is. So Sarah, thank you so much for doing this quick little interview for VGA, and we'll see you soon.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to it.